Agbonaye.
Living up to the moniker. It's a free kick award here. Options here. Ali Malol. Likely will be the one to deliver this one. No surprises there. Waits it in. Crosses past the goalkeeper. Goes out wide. As close as they come. That was an empty net. One plus net more. Unbelievable. Oh, there was a touch. Malol just standing out on the wing. Looks like a final touch.
Igwe Imetana.
Straight out to the wing once again, looking to attack. With ambition. Masterclass showing in the second half here from Tunisia. Back to the defense. Really putting pressure hiding into the truckloads. Forcing Kalbi. Play back to the goalkeeper. Saidi Ben Said. Now this is Myriam. Giving the ball away and giving a chance here to orchestrate another attack. This could be something good here for the Namibia. In the end, the output belies the work rate here. Also have really done much better there. Absalom. Counter-attack is on.
Igwe Imetana. Domo. Waya. Waya Domo. There. I can't edit it since. Sorry, it's a wrong. This typographical. Me I say it's not a sacrifice for Benin Kingdom. My 3 days trial in prison. A sacrifice for Benin. For Benin. My dad say, "I have phone as well." And the my way guag mo say, So Augusta Powell, Domo, good to see you too. Abi, it's good to listen from you. It's good, it's good to see you type. By the way, today's topic will be very interesting because today's topic, I want you all to listen to me very clearly and attentively, because I want to unveil some secrets to you people. Secrets that I have understood even when I'm way younger, that people who are way older. I want you people to listen to this topic. There are vital informations that I'm going to unveil. These vital informations is the reason why they will continue to haunt me. Because they don't want Iamao ni viedo ni boom. Oeso no raw. Since our environment era, you will cry. It is easier for you to say that Obavorame suffered in the hands of the British. That Obavorame suffered in the hands of the British. Obavorame Orioya Obebo. But I swear to God and our ancestors, Oyanovie Geweka the second will be yedo or sell Oya no Bavorame. Oya ne a joy no he will be yedo or sell Oya no bob or Bavorame will be bo. If I now begin to tell you people the crucifixion, the lies, the conspiracy, the elites, the Benin elites had against Obaiweka II, you will shed tears. If I now begin to tell the Edo people the conspiracy that the Edo elites had against Oba Akenzwa II, you will shed even more tears. That is the elitist conspiracy that they are also ganging up against Obayawa II. The elitist conspiracy. But because Izodua have said it will not happen during his lifetime, then I must be pushed aside. If you know how much I know of what was done to the previous Obas after, most especially Obaiweka II and Oba Akinzwa II, it will tell you why I have dedicated the past 6 to 7 years of my life trying to protect the throne. If I tell you how much humiliation that the Obas of Benin are faced in the hands of the elites, you will shed tears. The same elite, the ones who start ganging up against the same throne again. But funny enough, the tragedy of this is that the ganging up is not even coming from outsiders. It is not coming from within. It is the same sons. It is the same descendants of these air workers whose father suffered a great deal in the hands of the elitist Benin. It is the same sons and descendants of these Akinzwas whose father suffered a great deal in the hands of the elitists that are now forming the same elitists to gang up against the throne that was ganged up previously 40, 50, 60 years ago against their own father. That is the unfortunate. That is the unfortunate pain and tragedy. We have started. I want us to open our ears and listen very well. Because of if any Benin man, this is a word of wisdom from the ancestors. I want you all to listen. If any Benin man has attained a socio-political status, the first place he will want to challenge is the palace of the Oba of Benin. I'm not the one who said so. History has repeatedly said so. I want to read. I want to beef up these my claims with excerpts. I want to beef up these my claims with excerpts from the book on Hamena Mwebena Gome But and I got more inspiration from the works of the Iyase. I want to read about 4 sections from this book, so that it will form the base of my argument. It will form the basis of my argument. I want to read the travails of Oba Ozolwa. This history are not popular history. Most history that is other one knows are not popular histories. Or if imefeko you understand? But this history, a lot of Benin people are not aware. But I also want to read it to you so that you will understand the travails of past Obas of Benin. I want to use case study. I'm going to use an Oba that lived 500 years ago. Then I'll also now use an Oba that lived 400 years ago. Then I'll now use a case study of the Oba that lived about 50, 60 to 80 years ago as my case study before we will now start properly. Oba Ozolwa. In this book, this is page 121. A lot of you are aware of the story of Egbaniwu. Egban Noriwu. You are aware of the story between Egban Noriwu and Oba Ozolwa. But there's this particular part of the story that you are not aware. The conflict I'm reading now from Iyase's book. The conflict with Egban Noriwu lasted for many weeks. During one of the many extraordinary battles against this man, listen, Ozolwa was captured and held hostage. Now, he sent emissaries to Benin for aid. But the fighters among the chiefs made demands for specific chieftaincy titles from him before they would help. He agreed to their demands. Rather than move in as requested of them, they went on to celebrate the conferment of their titles around Benin. Ozolwa did not wait for them, but he perfected his escape, reinforced his troops, and gained a famous victory after a memorable battle. He thereafter marched triumphantly into Benin. What happened to the chiefs thereafter can only be imagined. Let me break it down. Oba Ozolwa had a powerful war with Egban Noriwu. Along that line, the war became heavy for Oba Ozolwa to handle. Honor Higihun Adedo for reinforcement. That wa bume ade abe ehamoba novi yoku. Wa bume ade so that na honko na muto. I want you to listen. I want us to pay attention. Instead, for the Benin chiefs to go and rescue their Oba. They now made a demand from him. You see who some of them can be. The same character of 500 years ago, any boy man, as of today. That's what I speak against. Only saying I'm like him. The same characters. Your Oba was in a predicament. He sent emissaries. Ogiawu ko na lao ne do buya de na koko honko ne alu de ogion ba ogien do osio kona nu gia koko do ko boku gbe na ya honko na mioto. Instead na be hamo ba so ya bo bare e na be no lao o de tiya de ba okuona no ka mwegie ni ane ani ana betama egbegie no munia. He now agreed because he was under a terrible situation. He now agreed, and in Asemsha he conferred these titles upon these greedy chiefs, these greedy nobles. Instead of them, he has not conceded to what they wanted. Instead of them to quickly go and support their Oba, they were not jubilating and happy that Amwegene. So to them, their self-serving interest is more paramount than the affairs of Benin Kingdom. That is the same character of 500 years ago. It's still the same character in 2023, 2024. This is what almost a 95 years old man wrote. I have not heard of this history until now. Like I said, Emi Bunie ni Guankai. But I just wanted to prove my point in reading 2 to 3 sections so that you will know the kind of people some of these people have always been. And it is in the back of this, of what I know, that I challenge them. And I have been not declared an enemy, both within, both enemy outside. No gwe home. And uwe enemy no uwe palace. No gwe home. So I now have, in Benin Kingdom today, I can authoritatively tell you people for free that Izodowa has the highest number of enemies. As of today, I have more enemies. But I am not perturbed. The enemies that I have had over these years is because of a matter, nita. None of them be able to come out to disprove of me of anything that I have ever said. None. None. That was what happened during the time of Oba Ozolwa. Fast forward to the 20th century. Let's now see what happened to Oba Eweka II. Still in the same book. What is most painful? The same Oba Eweka that the Benin elite humiliated. Even I show run it by the same elite. Yagweb Egwaihon. The same Oba Kenzwa that the Benin elite of that era humiliated Even I so raw. One of them, or women, one of Akenzwa's surviving son, or women. But it was not a bad thing, no. I freed 5 people from jail. I don't say free. They might so run in Reagan for 2 years because of 20,000. Because of 50,000. To me free, yeah. I want you guys to listen. The same book, page 199. I want you to listen. This is Obaiweka II. After the departure of Ovoramen to join his ancestors, Awo, Nori Obaseki, set his eyes on the royal kingship title. So, according to Iyase, after Otoriri Orue, Owonge Ovoramen Dokun, Awo wanted to be the next Oba of Benin. Hoping that with the support of the white administrators, he would be crowned Oba Awo, or with some other choice title. Now listen. I want you people to listen, because I don't do with rhetorics. You know, they always brag that if Obaiweka was not in good terms with Awo, Nori Obaseki, why did Ovorame give his daughter to Awo Obaseki to marry? And why did Obaiweka? Because Awo Obaseki married the daughter of Oba Ovorame and also married the daughter of Obaiweka the second. I want you people to know why now, because meo nomad ateme ataso de atemata no women. I want you people to listen, because that's what they used to brag with, that if Awo was truly an enemy of the palace, then why did he marry 2 princesses? Then I want to now tell you why. Hoping that with the support of the white administrators, he would be crowned Oba Awo, or with some other choice title. His wife, Oyiviame, Princess Oyiviame, who had by marriage, listen very carefully, become the last honor Oba Ovorame bestowed on his age-old friend, Obaseki. So, by the virtues of the friendship that Oba Ovorame had, not before he betrayed him, not before he betrayed him, but because of the age-long friendship that he had with his best friend, he gave his own daughter, called Oyiviame, Princess Oyiviame, to Awo. But look at what Iyasena wrote. Oyiviame, who had by marriage become the last son of Ovoramen, bestowed on his age-old friend, Obaseki, grieved greatly because she cried. Grieved greatly at her husband's attempt. Listen very well. Grieved greatly at her husband's attempt to rob her brother of his birthright and use the backing of the white rulers to usurp his position on the throne. So, or more, no bavora ye ne our Obaseki was Princess Oiniame. Our ATA. But because of he in our Obaseki, why would die or tien, which was Crown Prince Agwabasimi, honor, she started to grieve that you that was brushed up by the royal house, you can do this to our own brother, whose birthright is to be the next Oba of Benin. That is the first princess that our Obaseki married. Then I will tell you how he married Princess Ebose, which was the daughter of Obaeweka II. And I will tell you, I will read it from the same book. Now, the book went further and said, the white rulers had summoned a mass meeting of the chiefs and people of Benin with the aim of making the announcement. The meeting was presided over by the sitting resident of the kingdom, Mr. James Watt, on behalf of the Governor General, Frederick Lugard. The general gathering of the people, including the Benin nobles, who spoke through Uzama Eho, the gallant Uzama Eho, is Zedome. However, properly informed the administration about the law of primogeniture, which guided the Benin royal titular inheritance. Only Prince Agwabasimi could therefore be crowned king of Benin. He had to take Kwene because he knew his newfound love, which is the white people. He already had their backing to declare him the next Oba of Benin. But Agichi Kwok Bahaniya, Iviedo, chiefly, Eho Izedome, stood up and said, Ovioba Rioba, Ovioba Orioba. The resident then considered the matter in company of his officials, and then asked for the designation of the most senior title in Benin. He was then informed that the Iyase was the most senior title. He therefore approved that the chief should begin the process for the Oba's crowning ceremonies and then appointed Agwa as Iyase of Benin. So, listen to what Iyase wrote. When a plan of Iyaya Omagigba to crown Agwa Obaseki as the Oba of Benin, they now ask the chiefs that were there, of all the chieftaincy titles in Benin, which is the most senior? Yanabi Iyase. Then Ebo Nabe ne Agori Iyase. So you now understand that if tomorrow Izodua comes out that Agwa Obaseki was not an Iyase of Benin, I hope I don't also get sued to court. Because in real sense, it was not Obaeweka II that chose. It is the Oba that has a prerogative right to choose, to anoint, to choose any chieftaincy title in Benin. But in the case of Awo, Nawori Iyase, it was not Obaeweka that chose him. It was the British people, it was the white people that chose him to be the Iyase. Oh, no more time. It is a common story. It is not only the Iyase that said it. In all the Benin books written about it is the same thing that was written. That it was not Obaeweka that made Awo the Iyase of Benin. It was a white man. It was a white man that made him the Iyase. Having failed to force him as the Oba of Benin on the Benin people, they now forced him as the Iyase on the Benin people. But I'm just reading. I just want you to pay attention so that you people should understand where we are coming from and where we are going. I have no hatred against anybody. People should understand. The whole thing is that the injustice that some of the elite over the years has carried out against the royal house the injustice that some of the chiefs, that the so-called chiefs, even within the palace walls, have carried out against the royal house. It is what I am fighting. It was then informed that Iyase was the most, he therefore approved. That is, it is the white man that even approved that na Iyase coronation go monoba. Then it was the same white man that said, Yawo Yari Iyase. Since as was usual, the prince had done time at Uselu during his father's reign, he started his normal induction ceremonies at Usama and was duly crowned there as Oba Eweka II in April 1914. He thus became the 67th monarch of Benin, but the 37th Oba of Benin Kingdom. I want you people to continue to listen. The political climate created by Obaseki had become bewildering, as the Oba could not extricate himself from his general position in which he had found himself in the kingdom. So in other words, our Obaseki became equally as powerful as the Oba of Benin. Became equally as powerful as the Oba of Benin. Because at that time, the Obas of Benin were no longer independent. And the stooge of the white people, the guy who was representing the white man's idea in Edo land, was our Obaseki. It is through his ideas that elitist groups eventually were formed in the future that also rivaled other subsequent Obas of Benin. Because Ilele, Owe and Lele, that is still the same pattern that has legal on till date. The political climate created by Obaseki had become bewildering, as the Oba could not extricate himself from his general position in which he had found himself in the kingdom, nor could he prevent the white folks from interfering in matters of tradition in the land. He could not but yield to Awo. He could not but yield to Awo, who, being appointed Iyase, was in the hope that he would assist him in rallying his people around traditional norms of the land, so that the white folks could build up increased respect for the monarch. Instead of, he was thinking that Oga supporting him, but the reverse was the case. Unfortunately, Awo the Obaseki became Iyase Awo, and his personal exactions and assertions of power became a problem to Oba Eweka II, who had to put up with his ways, which were similar to the experience which Oba Akenzwa I had with the gutsy designs of Iyase Ode. Iyase Awo often went out on tour to several places outside Benin division and was so frequently in contact with the white folks who in many cases thought he was the Benin monarch. In spite of these and more, the Oba still desired to woo him closer. Listen, why he married a second princess. He now became so powerful that even to the outside people, with the people within Benin, saw him as the Oba of Benin. Because emenieta owa sevedo emino Eweka ata. So Oba Eweka has tried everything humanly possible to tell him that Moba wo Iyase, even Iyase ni mama we. You understand? Was to no avail. Then Oba Eweka now told himself that, okay, what if he now become my son-in-law? He will be more humble to me. Do you now understand? Look at what he has said. Iyase Awo often went out on tour to several places outside Benin division and was so frequently in contact with the white folks who in many cases thought he was the Benin monarch. In spite of these and more, the Oba still desired to woo him closer. In 1918, he gave him his daughter, Princess Ebose, in marriage. As the Oba's son-in-law, Awo could not continue to distance himself from the Oba, at least openly, anymore. In 1919, he joined the Oba's entourage on a tour of Unhode, although his central desire was obvious in his towering urge. In other words, what Iyase has said, having pacified him, because Oba Obari in na. That nega alili type na do rio ye ne Princess Ebose. That was the second princess that he married. The first one was Princess Oyinriame, who was given to him by Oba Ovorame because they were bosom friends. At that time, he had not betrayed him. But now that he has now become the Iyase, he now became too powerful, even more powerful than the Oba of Benin at that time. So the only way the Oba could pacify him, it was not out of love. It was out of Moba, please, Ahinia. Kerema amagia kwem Obama kwem egwanese. Kere ya munevegani. You understand? Even when he now married in 1918, in 1919, he followed him on the wounded tour that the Oba Benin made. But look at what he has now said. Although his central desire was obvious in his towering urge. So, in other words, he wasn't happy that Oheke notice suppose no way in your Oba or no name level. I'm or tie, yes, or tie. It's page 202. Who are the baby movement court? Why we show you said by it? Because that's the book I'm reading from. Iyase died in September 1920 at the center of a nobility conspiracy to betray him before whatever. Now, I want to read another excerpt. Let me, I'm looking for it now. I don't know where to see it. In the reign of Obaeweka, the Benin's made life uncomfortable for him. Yana toge yahu bava. Vokba worudo nigbe. Vinokba waragbo. He was planning to wage war as a crown prince, that he was planning to wage war against the British. So the British has to retrieve him to Oronigbe to come and be working. Thereafter, he was posted to Agbo. If you do so now, we told you as a crown prince, I go for saving. Yana we told you that over there, baby, over koke man over mwegboku. Now look at what Iyase said. 3 times was Obaeweka on. Okay, 2 times. He stood out in defense of his Lord Obaeweka in the years of 1922, when on 2 occasions, the Oba was accused of human sacrifices. It became bad that some elites were not the one that told the young Oba that he was engaging on human sacrifice. That is, Rude Oge, Nawa Muyo Oba, Namu Obaeweka hu, Ado ya change egwe maton asoya te awe egwe maton ado moya van. Rudoge, ne some elite vedo ta yunwen Obaeweka. That he was the British Council invited him for questioning. And I be mobile again. I think they were native court at that time, where he was judged if he actually participated in human sacrifices. And on 2 occasions that he was led upon, he was vindicated. When on 2 occasions the Oba was accused of human sacrifices, both cases were found to lack credible evidence. So, for the Oba of Benin, because the lies from the elites on his head was not too much. Church, just in case you are not aware, look at what Iyase said. To avoid any further suspicion, the Oba began to attend church services at St. Matthew CMS Church at Ogboka in Benin City for the rest of his reign. Agize Baori. Agize baoge. Agize baoge. Ne nagegi banyoge. Obayeweka was not forced to be attending St. Matthew's CMS Church. I'm trying to tell you people, the travails of the Obas of Benin. There's a reason why I'm saying this. I am guiding you people to a place. That is Obayeweka. Among several other things that the Benin elite did against him. Let's now go to Oba Akenzwa II. Now, in the case of Oba Akenzwa II, it was no longer Awo Obaseki. It was the Iyase of Obayeweka that he inherited that openly started to fight him. And look at what the Iyase, the current Iyase of Benin wrote of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Iyase Okorotun fought the Oba of Benin 6 occasions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. On 6 occasions. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, bow. Oh, baba. Ugba eha. I want to read it. His first Iyase was Okorotun, who as much as led the Benin community against the Oba in many cases. So the Iyase of Okorotun had led a lot, led the Benin community against the Oba on 6 occasions. Number 1, the forest reservation issue. The matter was first mooted in 1916 and was told through Iyase Awo's machination. This time around, Iyase Okorotun collaborated with the rising elite to riot against it. This was the first embarrassment which the Oba received from the Iyase. The current Iyase acknowledges that it was the first embarrassment that Emino Bahae, Emino Bahae or there, Iyase Okorotun wa Emino Bahae or there, Edomana Sunu. The water rate issue, 1937 to 1939. The people headed by the Iyase formed the Benin Taxpayers Association to protest against any rate for the supply of water, since according to him, they were already paying tax. That is the second issue. The tenement scheme issue, the third issue. The aim was to count people according to their homes in order to facilitate and enhance the aim was to count people according to their homes in order to facilitate and enhance budget revenue. The people were against it because the Oba signed it as the head of the native administration. That was the third one. The permanent crop issue. This was in regard to planting of permanent crops like rubber in places where farms were made each year. The people supported by the Iyase objected because they thought the rich people were being supported to take over their land. That was the fourth issue. The fifth issue, any person who desired to build a house was to obtain necessary approval from the Oba, which was a right thing to do. The Iyase stands encouraged the people against the program that the Oba of Benin has no right over the approval of lands for the people to construct. They believe he was the authority behind it. The sixth reason, because of his freelance soldering and mercenary background, he was rather more of a problem than the solution in the Oba's administrative matters. The Oba expected him to be closer to him in view of his east-west friendly relationship with his late father. There was subsequently a serious breach in communication between them. A standing council was, however, put in place under the auspices of the Oba and the colonial administration before the demise of Okorotun to settle all seeming rift. During the reign of Oba Akenzwa II, the governors of Nigeria were Donald Cameron, 1931 to 1935, and all of that. Now, Oba Akenzwa II, Orimiuhu Wobo Korotun, Orimiuhu Woboe. Now that means after Iyase Awo, in brackets, after Awo, in bracket, Iyase, because Obama Iyase, there was another Iyase called Iyase Okorotun. I think I've explained that Iyase in some of my subsequent historical classes. Then after that Iyase Okorotun, all the things that he did to Oba Akenzwa, another very wicked person happened to Benin Kingdom again. And his name is called Ikuobase Gaius Obaseki. Another very wicked, even more wicked than his own father. Ikuobase Gaius Obaseki happened again to Benin Kingdom. According to this book, because according to this book, which I want to read. Ikuobase Gaius Obaseki was the second Iyase of Oba Akenzwa II. He was the 8th son of Iyase Awo, who sensibly sent all his sons to school as a plan to feed them into the unfounding growth in the colonial administration. The king, I don't want to read so much so that I can. Okay. The Oba let go that line of action. The people's nominee, okay, I will read everything. The king, Oba Akenzwa II, has survived the incursions of the new elite led by Iyase Okorotun and decided to fall back on the cultural authority to initiate another title as a replacement of Iyase. But because Oba Akenzwa saw the wickedness of what an Iyase can be, he now said he wanted to replace the Iyase title. He had put Oba Deyando in place for this substitution. The storm raised by the elite, led by Ikuobase, to this plan was frightening. They argued that this nomenclature was humiliating and destabilizing to the people. The colonial administration, as represented by the resident HLM Bosha, was not impressed, especially when it was interpreted to mean that the people would be suppressed. The Oba let go the line of action. The people's nominee, Oba Nami Gwale Iyase, he is the creator of the Iyase title. He also has the power to say, Megi Gwalo. So, but the Gaius Obaseki-led group, another Obaseki, said that he has no such power. The people's nominee, Gaius Obaseki, who was secretary of the Taxpayers Association and a former chief clerk of the resident office, was nominated for the position by acclamation in 1948. So the group that was formed by Okorotun, whose the Gaius Obaseki, Ikuobase Gaius Obaseki, is now the secretary. A group in the elitist group, he and I will vote. He and I nominated Ikuobase Gaius Obaseki as the next Iyase of Benin. I want people to listen. The topic is not about them. The topic is about elites. But I want you to understand how the genesis of these elite conspiracies against the palace has started. And that is why I'm taking you through the journey. It was initiated by this family line. And I want you to understand this thing clearly. I'm not saying every Obaseki is bad. Anybody shouldn't pinpoint me. The two Obaseki that I have mentioned is just Awo and Ikuobase Gaius Obaseki. I'm not saying any other Obaseki is bad. Any other person can say any Obaseki is bad. I am not saying what I don't know. I'm saying what was written and documented. And if anybody has any problem, if you fought this book, I have other 50 books that I will bring that said the same thing. But I'm reading for the current year says. You understand? So, the 2 years that Awo Obaseki and Gaius Obaseki were based on nomination. Awo was nominated by the white people. Then Gaius Obaseki was nominated by his fellow friends and family members, friends and group members, which they call, what's their name again? Benin Taxpayers Association. They were called BTA, BTPA or so. Our Atiya. Iyaseni Evai was not Obazia and Zigmia. That's what I want people to understand. And that was in 1948. A former chief clerk of the resident was nominated for the position by acclamation in 1948. The necessary, listen to what Iyase furtherly said. The necessary palace celebrations and formal pronouncements were never done. And he never actually entered the palace. Because he was generally regarded, he was generally regarded as the Iyase of the Taxpayers Association by the chiefs and elders of Benin. Because Amamu Iyase. So tomorrow now, is all the one name all the Iyases of Benin. Instead of for me to read 18, 16. Hey, at least. So anybody can name 18. My name is 16. Omakame, it's my own opinion about this matter. Until I'm able to prove, until anybody is able to prove beyond doubt that Egwagele Muyase ne, because Egwaozi Yase. Look at what the Yase wrote. The current Yase said, the necessary palace celebrations and formal pronouncements were never done. And he never actually entered the palace because Egwamamuyane. And look at what he now further said. He was generally regarded as the Iyase of the Taxpayers Association by the chiefs and elders of Benin. In the circumstances, the Oba could not be compelled to confer the title on him because he never did. Obaseki placed a lot of credence on his education and his political powers. He had retired from public service as a chief clerk in 1914 and emerged as an idol to the educated elites. He had become the chairman of the Benin Divisional Council, chairman of the Administrative Staff Committee, member of the Western Regional House of Assembly, member of the Governor's Executive Council of Nigeria, president of the Edo National Union, and leader of the Reformed Ugboni Fraternity. In spite of all this, however, the Oba had to confirm the title on him for him to become the Iyase, had not to confirm the title on him for him to become the Iyase of Benin. The Oba could not, however, confer the title on him as he did not go through the qualifying attendant activities and celebrations of the palace. The Oba therefore did not confer him as the Iyase of Benin. Now, look, listen. He said he then thought of working for the Oba's deposition because he believed he was squarely on the saddle. So, because the Oba did not recognize him as the Iyase, he was not planning with the elite to depose Oba Akenzwa II. Depose. He said he then thought of working for the Oba's deposition. Abu Wama another deposition yaha. When I war Vorame, now we were Akenzwa II. He then thought of working for the Oba's deposition because he believed he was squarely on the saddle. Because he's the head of the elites. He was in charge. He has the colonial power. He thought he could do the undo. So since you did not confirm my Iyase, you have to go like your grandfather. Edowana Sunu. And it was 100 years ago. Late Songbar of Benin, Debbie told me the story himself. That Yamamomo, he was already in his 30s or so. Late 20s or early 30s when this thing happened. in his very before. He witnessed it. Obe sirinyo ya sunu, okana ya natana. It's in the works of Esogma. He then thought of working for the Oba's deposition. Uzama and the Benin monarchy, page 212. Uzama and the Benin, written by Sam, the current Yasser of Benin. He then thought of working for the Oba's deposition because he believed he was squarely on the saddle. He wanted to depose the Oba of Benin. I'm telling you people that at the end of this live video, you people are going to have a rethink why everybody has to rally around Obai the second. Have to rally around Obai. You understand? Have to rally around Obai the second. And me, because I have sworn that even anini yawo egeni egeme yewe egeme yewe egeme yewe because ya ije school ne no me atie law idene barisa obai wana yon game egan e barisa obai wana ya law to send me to jail. Barisa obai wana said I am an armed robber. That was a charge against me. That in the 2 AK population, in the 2 population. That's what Barisa Obai wana, someone I used to respect. That's what he wrote against me. That's what the elite used him. He's not part of the elite. That's a person we used to look up to. That's what he wrote against me. Someone I used to look up to. That I am an armed robber. He will have to prove. I'm coming. Osagie. It's not Matthias or Baiwana. Osagie. He then thought of working for the Oba's deposition because he believed he was squarely on the saddle. This raised, now listen, when Amio Madan Vevo Osaloba Gioma, Osaloba Gie, Ove Gioma no Made, Ove Gioma no Made. There might be 10 bad, there might be 100 bad elites, but one good elite will stand firm and defeat all of them. He then thought of working for the Oba's deposition because he believed he was squarely on the saddle. This raised the reaction of the people, educated or not, and stirred up the formation of Otuedo in March 1950 with the Oba as president and Humphrey Omo-Osagie, the Agobai of Benin, as the vice president. Oyari Zeriedo. Oya. He's a Riedo. He's a Yoya Noba. Humphrey Omo-Osagie. Nozwani no being a real lit wa atie bona. Ozwani. That's why I'm angry that people like Humphrey Omo-Osagie is not being recognized today in Benin. We must recognize this man, Omo-Osagie, again this year. Oya ize Yoba Vedo Osalobana do gie Humphrey Omo-Osagie. He now said, Etienne form a group. On a form a group or a pro Benin group. Anaate Otwedo. They formed their own in 1948. He formed his own in 1950 and made the Oba Benin the president, the chairman, and made himself the vice chairman. On you say Anaate B2, Benin number 2, after the Oba Benin, your Zelele. Iya Louis Pakberan, when any Iya Verusha Manive Mugboni Ajedo. That same family. Iya Verusha Manive Mugboni Ajedo. We must form our own or Wegbe. I have form of Wegbe. We will use Gra for you. We will use Juju. If you bring your Juju, we'll bring our Juju. Wame Juju Otiyo Bare. Mani pro binina. Maweme Borima. Maweme a magical whatever spiritual power. We are not form of Wegbe, which has not translated to in Haiti or Sok Bikave Denena. He formed it. That's a great man. This raised the reaction of the people. Vogi tani ya depose oba. Yana wo yaya siwe woman. The Benin raised in unity and in oneness against this carcass of elites. This raised the reaction of the people, educated or not, and stirred up the formation of Otwedo in March 1950, and the Oba as president and Ofri Omo Saige. Then he was the Ayagobayi of Benin as the vice president. The emergence of Omo Saige pitched the battle of supremacy between Otwedo and Otugboni for the first time. The situation lingered on until Gaius died on April 12, 1956. The Eshwon Kwoni, 8 years, Ogbe, bequeathing to his followers the task of attempting to weaken the monarchy. They have always had one plan: to weaken the monarchy. They have always had one plan: let's weaken the monarchy. Humphrey Omo Saige was born in 1896. He became popular as H. Omo Saige in 1946 when he retired from public service and went into politics. He was admitted into the palace and was conferred with the title of Ayagobayi of Benin also in 1946 to buttress his royal politics as against the anti-royalist pretensions led by Gaius Obaseki. He acquired the nickname B2 when he became recognized in Otwedo in 1950 as the man next to the Oba of Benin in the group. This seriously confused the Gaius Obaseki group, which gradually began to lose some of its members. B2 became Iyase number 15 of the kingdom in 1960 after Nigeria gained their independence from Britain. He thus became the mouthpiece of Edo people and protector of Edo community towards the creation of Midwest region after the referendum of July 1963. Iyase Omo Saige became a member of the House of Representatives and turned out to be an amazing success in his political pursuit until his retirement in 1972. He died in 1977. He was a king's man. Listen to what the current Iyase said. He was a king's man throughout his functional life. He was throughout his function, even though the Oba uttered political grants during the early days of Awolowo's Western Nigeria politics. But his Iyase maintained his stand with Edo people in line with their tradition. He had been in close association with his Oba since their boyhood days, even as classmates in King's College, Lagos, and until the formation of Otwedo in 1950. All this brought them together to fight the political battle for the survival of the monarchy. Akenzwa II designed the formation of Otuedo and the necessity for them be to nomenclature with Omo Osagie in 1950 in order to douse the pretensions of Iyase Gayus Obaseki and his Ugboni loyalists. In defiance of the royal traditions of the land, this close association was responsible for the Oba's decision to leave the position of the Iyase of Benin vacant from 1956 when Iyase Gayus Obaseki died to the year 1960 when the title was conferred on Omo Osagie as Iyase in the year 1960 to 1977. Offering Omo Osagie achieved the following: the restoration and heightening of the Iyase's traditional image. Imagine he had to destroy them, but he now had to take the prestige back again. The break into the expanding politics of Nigeria by the Ebdo people. He took Edo people single-handedly into Nigeria politics of today. At that time, Nigeria's Otuedo was a vociferous group that was reckoned, that could have reckoned with any other political groups of that time because of Omo Osagie. The sanctity of the Benin monarchy, he restored the sanctity of the Benin monarchy during the early political awareness and the period of military incursions was protected. The revival of the socio-political traditions of the Benin monarchy was enhanced. The Iyase Aho, Iyase Okorotu, and Iyase Gayus Obaseki sought to marry themselves strongly to the European and local elites because they were trying to curry favor from the white men. Irrespective of the bewilderment of the monarchy, and thought much more about themselves than the likely perceptions of posterity. The 15th Iyase Omo Osagie, however, took a different alignment. To him, the image of the Iyase as the monarch's #1 man in the kingdom must be known, not only in name, but also in action. This was Iyase's Omo Osagie's concept of the dimension of the Oba's domestic and national politics. With this always in view, and with his regard for the monarch, he sought to protect Edo people into the mainstream of the politics which led to the eventual creation of the Midwestern region. The Nigeria Civil War of 1967 to 1970 brought a lot of unpalatable activities with it, as would any war. However, it did bring degenerating effect on the hallowed tradition, which in history were Nigeria hallmarks. Political rulers, some of them lost their lives. Traditional rulers and their institutions were put under pressure. Iyase Omo Osagie and his lords stayed on to tell the story of how the excesses of the time were bridled to pressurize the resilience and the intercomprehensiveness of Edo people. The post-war times formed a new era for Oba Akenzwa II and his Iyase B2. The socio-politics and cultural traditions of the land had begun a revival. Before Iyase Omo Osagie passed on in 1977, before his monarch, Oba Akenzwa II joined his ancestors shortly after in 1979. The times were for them essentially what looked like cooling off times for victors, and what may have been considered their effort to reflect on the long activities of their elongated records. What current Iyase has brilliantly explained of Omo Osagie should be framed and put in every Benin man's sitting room. How an Iyase, in spite of the elite, stood firm for his Oba and regained the kingdom from the hands of the elite and placed it back to the hand of the Oba of Benin. This is what, when I read about Omfre Omo Osagie, I shed tears. And if I cannot become the next Omfre Omo Osagie, or Agmona, a man who defended the kingdom in truth, in respect, should always be remembered, not liars. He's my #1 mentor of the modern Benin. He's the greatest Benin man of the modern Benin era. I have said it. Humphrey Omosage is the greatest Benin of the 21st century, or the 20th century, if you like. The 20th century, no, I guess. Is the greatest Benin man of the 20th century. That is what Izoduwa said. I'm excluding the royal house. But outside the royal, is the greatest Benin man of the 20th century. Nobody's close to him. The elites that are lies. Just they can sell Benin Kingdom for a baggy. All of them. That's why I don't have respect for them. He didn't betray his Oba. In spite, the Obas of Benin occasionally makes, they're humans. Even if God on earth, they have blood flowing through their veins. They are on some circumstances, they are bad to some mistakes or so. But in spite of that, Almost again never left the side of his monarch, never left the side, stood firm. I just wanted you people to listen. I wanted you people to listen. Ekenake. That is why I said in the beginning, if you remember, if you all can remember, I said that Oviedo, when an Edo man already attaining some social political status, he will be looking forward to challenge the palace of the Oba of Benin. He will. Oye na sen niya manao. Yeah, on mekeni a yesku se. Imagine esku lalobo. Esku we ni you. They will not begin to see themselves that they are not in a pole position. Any Benin man given a very strong political position will always, most, if not 99%. I'm telling you from what the book has said, from what history has always garnered. I was telling my brother Agbede, Osai Monti, and it will be easier. That is why you always see Oriowe do not disrespect the palace. But ini mano, oye na senima, will get to one point. My amigo here never go. My do I use it? As almost in the same level the palace. Oye na seniya, mao. That's what the history book said. I just wanted us to have a clue that what pains me most, the Akenswa that was humiliated until Humphrey Omosage stepped into the scene. If or the Russian one or even Gwe type me. Or if you are debave some elites that are not royal to want to destroy the royal house. Your same father that was humiliated by the same elite, because you are not becoming elite, you are forgotten where you are coming from. You are not joining the same elite to not want to destroy the legacy of your own father. Oba Akenswa the second that he taught Oikbe Oidegberi Agmowe Oba Ewelare. The same thing with Eweka. The pain, the denial, the lies, the conspiracy against Eweka the second and Oba Akenswa the second, supposed to even make the royal house to be more solidly behind the current occupant of the throne, Oba Eweka the second. That is what I'm always fighting for. That in one okay no been an egwa. No ain't been an egwa for all these years, and now the people now fighting the palace. They have been more you down. They had a case against me April last year, where I went to the police station and I was taken on a bail. But because they knew what they wrote against me does not hold waters, they not trump up the charges. I'm robber by and shamefully, the man I used to respect, knowing you're a barrister Saige or Baiwana, looked at me in the face and called me an armed robber. Am I anywhere? That one a no-gate designate of Uwo that Modwe Fon already. With all due respect, I'm not bragging. I'm currently using the current most expensive Samsung phone. With all due respect, I'm currently using the current most expensive Samsung phone, Galaxy Fold 5. The minded of a ladianel. Because I think this phone, Fold 5 came out around September last year. Again, I had the Fold 5 in I'm sure my say 100. No, in Nigeria at the time I bought it. Is there no volume? Can you people hear me? Okay, you can hear me. Thank God. Now, because when they saw that the charges, videos in there, they were cutting it. Take me to court, I will defend every statement that I said against this Enige. In the first place, I'm not the architect of their own problem. They are their own architects. They are the architect of their own problem, because I did not write the letter. I only responded to the letter. And today, if iniate rue omuya more where they today they no longer bears His Royal Highness. More where, because when they were reading the edit, one line. The same edit that they brought out was also Izoduwa. Me and Comrade Osaze digging. Comrade Osaze digging. He was with me all throughout. But I invited him the day Thursday, railway station. Then I have the court case. Again, I plan then I have court cases on Friday. So we met with the lawyer, a very sound lawyer, Barrister Wagie, very sound. He looked at Obaiwana's face and told him what I will never forget. And this is what he told me. Growing up in the street of Benin as a young lawyer, we used to look up to you as a human rights activist, but by chopping up a case of armed robbery against this innocent man makes me to have a rethink. And I can tell you now, sir, that I am sorry. On a fuen. Damenam with pompa shweva. Where me as mighty as Arwan me about the pompa shweva. Go born ni meheya crack Owe ina the two papa show ina da bay ina the broken bottle oh obesis me we ya obe va ke kan vi me ya de e papa show vai Because of that man, I will not agree any of my children to read law. Because of a man, me couldn't remember about law. Because okay, because of that man, all my children will read law. You understand? He knew he had no offense against me. Because why he wanted to add armed robbery case? Why he added an armed robbery case? Because armed robbery case is not a bailable offense. They wanted to teach me a lesson. They wanted me to be in jail for some time. Not knowing that even if I spend 1 year in jail, I will still come out. For some time, I'm not going. But you see, they are the I don't want my it's a way low yes in you woman a man bon calling that a cook bomb master. You understand? I was on my own. I was on my own. Oh woman guame. I just concentrated on my business all this while. You understand? I not do any live video on top of anybody. I all day on my own. Boy, I don't want my way. So anything they also see now, they should bear it. You understand? You cannot send me to jail, knowing fully well that I am innocent. If you think the case you had against me in April, it was cyber stalking because they knew that it would definitely lack merit. Because I would defend all the things that I said. I didn't lie against these people. If they ask me to repeat those statements, I will repeat it exactly the way I said the MOW video ni. That they said I was calling some nigga foolish and all of that. Their actions were they not foolish? Are they not crying now? Omani, I don't want to mention anybody's name. Omani Amwetinya, Usadebe Avenue, or ye PK Korea. I get first class information. No longer stakes their call. That with a guana that you picking I call. If the nigga have issues with the pilot, they should go and face it. Don't have me Mosisi. I'm with armed robber. Someone I have never offended. At the height of this problem, I want me or Sadia Digi can bear me witness. Mana boari wa. Mana boari office. In a pardon, this is what is going on. How do we settle this matter? Not knowing that that a man who was known to be a human rights activist at that time cannot condescend so low to take money from these very dubious characters to fight someone who has always stood for the truth. My legacy of what I have done for Benin Kingdom are bats everywhere. And nobody has been able to come out. I have been bragging, saying that he might do more of Bible, you want more of Bible, you want more of Bausa. He might tell you there. If you have any of these evidences that I lied against anybody, blah blah blah, this bring it forward. Oviedo Nedo. We take pride in our principles. Not when you told me the virtues. This is a man that used to speak so highly of the virtues of an Edoma, only for him to do the opposite of the virtues of an Edoma that he once told me about. Then tomorrow, after all, in 2019, the facts are there. Meme tattoo we my Digboi there. We have pictures. If you show Digboi see, me tattoo we meme. My sigbo there, my sika there, even single tattoo we. You understand? I'm at any hammer about I am a tattoo with Benny Sigbo, a picture of have with Facebook. In Sigbo, I'm at any hammer. Man, I've been care one and why get single tattoo rom and be, or they told my me in a this guy, or in a dig boy there. You understand? Then, what my father has never done to another person's son, then you call me an armed robber. Because you wanted to prove a point that I will go to jail. If I go to jail, does that shut me up? Haven't you considered that sending me to jail is even a dent on your image and reputation, which you have dented? Do you think I will ever respect you? Anyway, someone who does not have integrity does not care about respect. And do you think that when people are not talking in the circumference of Noble Edo people, will I ever mention you, or any other persons who follows me or who listens to me will ever see you and take you serious as a respectable Edo man because you were paid, or because you are related to these people, because you are related to the Norilehage Ogegman? What I said, you people are supposed to respect me as a prophet, as a visionary. What I said at that beginning, at the beginning of last year was that is what is happening to them. I told them at the beginning that if they don't retrace their step, can any of them enter any of their respective dukedoms, the ones suspended by the palace? Was I the one who suspended them? Was I the cause of their problem? Was I the one to ask them to go and write the letter that put them in trouble? I only responded. I only said you cannot divide Benin Kingdom. If you want to form your kingdom, go outside Benin Kingdom and go and form your own somewhere. If you want to be an Enoge, not Enoge, not Bama, as far you were created by the Oba, you were installed by the Oba, you have no right to say you don't want to be under the Oba Benin for whatever reason. That's what I stood for. And I still stand for it. That's what I stood for. Why I do your babo? So because of that, I should be crucified. I should go to the Iwa. That jail, Friday, it was destined that I go. You can go to White House now to go and find that. With that jail, I am boasting that I have been able to secure bail for 3 people. I cleared their bail because Okbawa was held by 100,000. He's almost there for 4 years. I paid it. The other one, Evawa, was held by 50,000. I paid it. Okbawi Yoba, Imao Ede, Eva Oviedo. Then another 2 persons, I'll be meeting with their lawyers and paying for all their court cases because they are innocent. Because I confirmed it, I did my research. They are actually innocent of the accusation. Okbawa Ovi Kalabano is an old man. The man is almost 80. He's almost 80. By man, you understand? Not wale ekita never do and all of that. At the end of the man accused the man that he raped his daughter, whereas the daughter confessed that the man did not rape him and all of that. So I'm going to pay for him. There's another Benin boy, a young boy. He has spent about 8 years in jail. He has spent 8 years because of Agi jail and young Modion. His father had heart attack and died. And I went to find out that he's actually innocent for what he was accused of. So I've instructed him. His lawyer I'll be having a meeting with his lawyer tomorrow or next so that I can pay whatever amount to ensure that his case is speedily. A young boy who has ambition and future cannot he has spent 8 years already. Almost 8 years, 7 going to 8 years already. So I'm happy that Meyerani, because otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to bring out these people. Or you get a cut one. We are selrewa. You understand? None na me gen doni. Or on ya rubbish the case. As I get transfer, I are cut 3. On your do probably saying him. Maybe I may buy influence decision on I don't know. So after my lawyer, Baisha Wage, was able to counter him, after I was able to counter him, so the woman discovered that I can't be an armed robber because the case that was against me by April, there was no armed robbery case. And I was granted an administrative bail. Only for a day to armed robbery by. So the woman granted me bail and we were able to meet with the bail condition in less than 1 hour. But the judge has already closed. So the judge could not sign the papers. So I have to be remanded. So first thing at about 9:30, 10 on Monday morning, that is no day, I was bailed. At least I met with a lot of my Edo people. And I had one of my best times. No worries. Oma no doto. Am I way boat oge? Am I way survey oge? No worries. If from Magwe, no worries. Imagine politicians ni zuoyo in Nigeria. I was just there. Early morning we praise and worship. Memade bao evening praise and worship. No nene wa nene un. No neru aneru. No leva no sigbo asigbo. Megwasi nyateri gbowe siga gbe mo. But it was a learning experience. It was a learning curve. You understand? I say yes, Gary Morocco be one, my brother. He may high. He may high. But so now we messing competition. Who win? They'll bet money. Those guys are very fun to be with. They're very fun to be. They are free. They're not. That's one thing about those guys. Is it those? They're not. They took me to the C&C section. People that have been condemned for life. They are just waiting for the governor to sign so that they can be executed. I went there. They are jolly good fellow. They are always happy. They are dancing. They are playing music. You understand? These are people who are condemned for life for whatever crimes they committed. I don't know. But some of them are quite very innocent. But because and you see some people who have spent 15, 20 years for a case that is not even up to 100,000, 200,000 because they couldn't make big conditions. It's quite pathetic. You understand? But I meant these people, but they are jolly good fellows. No jealousy. They're just living their life. They are happy. They smoke, drink. That's about the only thing that they can do. Then play football, engage on physical activities. They all bath together. You know, you understand? Mawaje bona pawe agwa le bedroom. Ni mawale oyi. You understand? So, but the rest, they all bath publicly. Who don't die, no, they fear death again. Now, so one of them tell me, say, guy, I've been condemned to death. Me and I heard the talk. He say, who don't die, they fear die. Now I say, no. And boy, now bye. Ona agukpo pori na ya va won anything no retire you are correct sir. You are correct sir. You are correct sir. Because who don't die? True, not they die again. So you are correct sir. They are taba. I don't be ex-convict too. I visit contest tomorrow. I don't be ex-convict. 2019, I'm not give you a year. I have him with catalog or man. And I go not give. And I will be 2019 or so. So I don't want to mention any politician. One top politician in contest here governor near your White House. People go for different reasons, but it doesn't make you an ex-convict. The court did not come. I was remanded. Yes, convict. Yes, convict. We are relaxed. You understand? They go now. They do your carry glass. They go. Yeah. So I know. So this is a summary of my life. This is a summary of my life. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to let you know that this is my 3 days travails. I did all this because I went in Edo. You understand? Anybody can say anything that they want to say. Like I've said it's an established fact. The guy who has the highest enemy right now in Benin Kingdom is me. within the palace and outside the palace. Always within the palace, Imaoni, Nienioni. Some of you understand already. And outside the palace. Why? I'm like this. The day anybody will prove that Enafi Beleku, I will stop fighting for Benin Kingdom. Because I am where doing. My toge. Or no toge we do no ba ma oge. Me tell you say ya te amwe ede. Na do mwe de lele ring road. Ba te me abro ba bi due fon rie. O agele right due fon rie. Boy phone na harama say 200,000 o. Agele Mary menizodo wana mwe papa so eva. Ina due fon rie. Na gbowe de gbe ma me ni ge mi ede no gbe wo da o me. Awe ana wa ba won oge. Ru dan ya oni age me gan. Ni age mi ede no gbe wa ho e. Otherwise, ana we ni emwebo, me ate amwebo because yagwina me professor me lawyer me my law matter wine do o say ni sige simine do odo amu me ye court me my ye court there me my ye prison there so o de no ma ola. I'm a traditional man. So iha ye court nya ima odewa onwa awu mi no da imwebo gbe imwebo gbe because abi abro by him. So we need to tell me where do ima mwe popation or abi mwe popation ya bi do fun rie ima do fun rie ya bi mogo ima mogo ori ni agberun oni in Barisa by one agmen room that I'm an ambroba. So even in the time if you do that except you can prove again with poor passion again you do a phone with you and I type and I boy phone na hana or must say 200,000. No, now, I'm not swearing to myself because I'm innocent of whatever accusation. So, I do it for Mario. You know. So that's my 3 days trial. But I'm out. Everything is good. Tell me so some persons wanted to. If you want to contribute, I can bring you on live. And if you want to contribute so that you do what I can bring you on live. Or even what tire. So, but before that, I want to appreciate very specific people. First on the list is Comrade Osaze Edigin. He was with me. All throughout, he stood very firm and very strong. He had his one court when he saw that they trump up the case by Andre armed robbery to read. He was mad. He was furiously mad. So I have to thank him. Only if you do. I have a little ni 100 million account. Oyi. Anywhere do I've been trying to tell them that those people that you worship are the people killing this land. If you want to worship any person in Edo, people like Osaze Edigin, Comrade Osaze, should be worshipped because those are the people who really genuinely love this land. Anybody that passionately and patriotically love any society are those people you are supposed to love. Not those ones that have fat pocket made from lies and criminal whatever. So we must appreciate Edigin. Then another person on book was Osareme. He stood firmly, my secretary. And even saying I bet you might say the nice man. You know, book was one of my shorty. Me, I let it. Shorty. I'll leave all my businesses for Benin because of who? Because of Abimani Ariadowa. Even Kennedy will die here. O Torira maybe Yemen or even Kennedy. So we must appreciate Osare Mendo. We must appreciate Imwentia. Or Tion Baseki no. Ogbedi Oyo. Ogbedi Oyo Bio Baseki. Wamae. Iyan wo Baseki. Cousins yan hin. Egbokpa yan hin. Egbokpa yan hin. Imwentia. Egbokpa yan hin. Obi deny ba. Egbokpa yan hin. So, but Marie Sagion Rian, but Bokman Oji Gabia Gagboa, Yedo Tai. So, ain't usually called Belagmoyawa. Ain't usually called Belagmoyawa. I have to also mention Ovio Banodion, we know why. No, she's my mama. She stood firmly, calls were made. I have to also thank Nimei Azira Okwaga Tise Ridiawa. He wasn't around, but he made calls. He made a whole lot of calls on my behalf. He even called the former deputy governor, Loki Maswen. Loki Maswen called me and he thought the case. We have made the bail condition. I told him that we have made the bail condition that they wanted to do some verification. After the verification, once the judge signed, I'll go home. Only for which to now find out that a judge is bad. So when I called him, he made a whole lot of calls. That's the former deputy governor was called by Irame Okwaga to make he wasn't around, so to make all the necessary way to get me out, possibly. So I have to thank Epa Loki Maswen for being patriotic enough to consider, even if I've never met him in person, and he has never met me in person, but he was worried, he was concerned because of the palace instruction. And Chief Oseni Lama was also contacted. He also threw his weight. Calls were made eventually. But like I said, Osanyaiti. And I cannot forget the good comrade, Mr. Anagise. All what is a godsend to me for the past 1 year or so. I've never met him in person. But when it comes to my matter, when it comes to my case, the power always take it to high heaven. He called, he was on everybody's neck. He called almost everybody that he can call, and to ensure that I was free that day. But fortunately, the judge left quite early, and until I was not bailed yesterday. So these and many other persons. What do you do?
You're not angry.
Come on here. Okay, let me just thank my beautiful wife. So that I may not come be like, say, I bet they go.
Feel like I could not sleep.
Why they talk for inside my video call? I'm really thanking her. Let me thank my family. I didn't tell my brother. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell anybody. So, but I cannot thank you people enough. You all, and nobody was awarded. But I just wanted to let you people know that again, that when I innovation have you born here, why me ame? Innovation have you born here. Ime mi obi I have you born here. Ye ladi temata iti di strong here manya. God bless me with that. Sorry, a network it a shift to network what disappear. Sorry, network it disappear. So I know, so I can't thank you all enough. If any of you want to come online for just 1 or 2, I can actually allow 1 or 2 persons come online so that we can round up. So why the network went bad for a while, so I don't know. Can any of you hear me? Why you hearing it? Is the network better now? So, okay. So I know, why I was say, I can't thank you people enough. And I thank all of you for your support. Why I was say, so Safiang Buwaya, there won't be Zodowa without you people. And the only thing that I'll continue to tell you people, that God and our ancestors should continue to help me. On no account will I be found wanting. Idego here, imie mata, lude ilalobo, nidwa toge, imie mata, lude ilalobo, nidwa toge. That I can guarantee you anytime, any day. You understand? I know the fight will still continue. Imanibwa we need everything possible. Ni ayabamaoge my guy. I know they have tried, they will continue to fail. You understand? But because my heart is clean, my intentions are genuine, I have no hidden interest. I have no selfish interest. Ego gualo, recognition gualo. I will always come out victoriously. I mean, every day I only okay. Understand? But we did gidigba. My day go here. My day go here. So I know. So I can't thank you people enough. I appreciate. I promise we'll have to resume our history class, and I will find time. I will create more time now because I need to have a history. Yeah, you know, I have done so much for Benin history, but there's still a lot. Nivye domain. Ni meni zodu wa aswa viola diana. Imi so na ma ona te guankan. So that we ma do ran why do we no see e. Ni ana gwe egwa egbina. Ni ana gwe oba swan. Understand? Why I do we no see e. Understand? But in the times of travails, history always remember those who fought uprightly for what they believe in. Uprightly is the watchword. You can fight for life. You can fight for what is bad. But those who fought rightly, those who fought uprightly for what is true and for what is right and for what is righteous, history always remember them. Are we not talking about Humphrey Omosighe today? Well, why we Naniya? He didn't know that after he should have passed on 1977, don't know how many years ago. He didn't also know that the Beninese will also be talking about him, that go honoru. So do anything that you want to do, but history will remember you either for good or for bad. But I have always chosen that whenever history will remember me, history should remember me for the good and sacrifices that I did for Benin Kingdom. And I want to also use this avenue to remind Edo people that February 14th is Queen Eden's Day. That was an idea that the ancestors gave me somewhat around 2017 or 2018. And today, a lot of people now celebrate it. We have so many things that we are currently designing that will favor our people. We think good of our land. We think of how we can make Edo land a better land. While some people are ganging up against the palace. Eguamale ni asi me uhuoria. Eguamale ni asi me onhia. Eguamale no we agbe. You understand? Do you know that a lot of people hate me today because they said I am close to the palace? That's just their hatred. If I not begin to tell you people things, okay, or you even be pitying for me, that people not just hate me, but because they said I'm close to the palace, because they said I defend the palace. If you have any problem with the palace, doesn't mean tell me marry man one day. My mom always tells us when we were growing up that don't inherit my enemy. My enemy is my enemy. It has nothing to do with you. So for the fact that I said that woman is my enemy does not mean that at the dawn of the day you should not greet the woman or the man. So never. So I was trained by a good father and a good mother. That is why you see he misbehave. So if they are failed as their duty to train their own children, they should not rob their lack of training of their children on me. If I was trained to love the palace unconditionally, to love the monarch unconditionally, and they train their own children to despise the palace for whatever reason, they should not rob their hatred on my own.